Many people underestimate the power hidden inside their words. They think speech is just sound that disappears after a few seconds. But in reality, every word carries weight. A single sentence can heal a broken heart, strengthen a weak soul, or inspire someone to continue living with hope. At the same time, one careless statement can destroy confidence, break relationships, create hatred, and leave emotional wounds that last for years. This is why speech is one of the greatest responsibilities Allah has given to human beings. The tongue is small, but its impact is enormous. Some people lose respect because of their words, some lose peace because of their words, and some even lose the mercy of Allah because they refuse to control what comes out of their mouths. Allah created human beings with the ability to speak as a special gift. Through speech, people communicate love, wisdom, knowledge, and faith. But the same blessing becomes dangerous when it is used incorrectly. Many people wake up every day speaking negativity without realizing how deeply it affects their hearts and lives. They constantly complain, insult others, spread gossip, or use harsh language. Over time, this darkness enters the soul itself. A person who speaks negatively all the time slowly begins to think negatively, feel negatively, and live negatively. Their own words become chains around their heart. Instead of attracting peace, they attract stress. Instead of spreading mercy, they spread pain. The hidden power of every word can also be understood through relationships. Families are often built upon kind speech and destroyed through cruel speech. A husband and wife may love each other deeply, but repeated hurtful words slowly poison the relationship. Parents sometimes damage their children emotionally by constantly criticizing them or comparing them to others. Friends stop trusting each other because of lies, mockery, or betrayal through speech. In many cases, the greatest pain people carry is not physical pain, but words spoken to them years ago. A child who grows up hearing you are useless may continue fighting insecurity for decades. This is why speech is never just words. Words become memories, emotions, and scars. Islam teaches believers to understand the seriousness of speech before it leaves the tongue. Every sentence spoken is recorded by the angels. Nothing escapes Allah's knowledge. People may forget what they said, but Allah never forgets. On the day of judgment, many will be shocked by the number of careless words they spoke throughout their lives. A person may think a joke is harmless, but that joke may humiliate someone deeply. Someone may spread gossip for entertainment without realizing they are destroying another person's dignity. Others speak in anger, not understanding that one sentence can ruin years of love and trust. This awareness should make every believer more careful, more thoughtful, and more conscious before speaking. The Prophet literally taught believers that good speech is part of faith itself. Speaking kindly is not simply good manners. It is worship. A smile with gentle words can become charity. Encouraging someone who feels hopeless can become a source of reward. Saying Alhamdulillah fills the heart with gratitude. Saying a Subhanallah purifies the tongue. Saying Astaghfirullah cleanses the soul. This shows that speech has spiritual power as well. Just as negative words darken the heart, beautiful words bring light into the soul. A believer who constantly remembers Allah with the tongue develops inner peace. Their words become softer, calmer, and more beneficial to others. Many people only focus on controlling their actions while forgetting that the tongue itself is an action. Some avoid major sins like stealing or cheating, yet they constantly backbite others, insult people online, or spread negativity everywhere they go. The tongue can commit sins very quickly because speaking is easy. A person can destroy someone's reputation within minutes. Social media has made this even more dangerous because words can now reach thousands of people instantly. People insult strangers, mock appearances, spread rumors, and argue aggressively without fear. Yet every typed word is still recorded by Allah, just like spoken words. Technology may change, but accountability before Allah remains the same. The hidden power of words is also visible in how they affect the speaker personally. People who constantly speak with anger eventually lose peace within themselves. Their hearts become heavy and restless. They struggle to feel calm because negativity has become their natural language. In contrast, people who train themselves to speak gently often develop emotional stability. Their relationships improve, people feel safe around them, and they become a source of comfort rather than stress. This is why controlling speech is not only about protecting others, it is also about protecting your own heart and future. The second keynote, your tongue can build or destroy, carries an even deeper warning. Human beings are constantly shaping their world through speech. Every conversation is either building something beautiful or destroying something valuable. A tongue that speaks truth, kindness, patience, and wisdom becomes a tool for goodness. But a tongue filled with lies, insults, arrogance, and cruelty becomes a weapon. Many people ruin their own lives without realizing their speech is the reason. They destroy opportunities because of arrogance. They lose friendships because of harshness. They damage marriages because of constant criticism. They create enemies because they cannot control anger. One of the most powerful ways the tongue builds lives is through encouragement. Sometimes people are carrying burdens nobody can see. A kind sentence may be the reason they continue moving forward. Telling someone Allah is with you can restore hope in their darkest moment. Reminding someone of their strengths can help them overcome fear. Supporting family members with gentle words creates emotional security in the home. Positive speech does not mean pretending life is perfect. It means choosing words that bring benefit instead of destruction. At the same time, destructive speech can ruin a person emotionally and spiritually. Some people speak without thinking, believing they are simply being honest, while actually hurting others deeply. Honesty without wisdom becomes cruelty. Islam teaches believers to balance truth with mercy. Even correction should be done kindly. Harsh words often close hearts instead of changing them. A person may remember an insult longer than they remember years of kindness. This is because painful speech enters deeply into the human heart. The tongue can also destroy a person's relationship with Allah. Backbiting, lying, mocking others, spreading rumors, false accusations, and foul language all poison the soul. Many people want closeness to Allah while continuing to harm people through speech daily. True spirituality requires purification of the tongue. A believer cannot expect peace in worship while constantly hurting others verbally. The tongue reflects the condition of the heart. When the heart is filled with arrogance, jealousy, or anger, the tongue exposes it. But when the heart is purified with faith, patience, and sincerity, the tongue begins speaking with beauty. Anger is one of the biggest reasons people destroy others with speech. During moments of anger, people often say things they regret forever. One sentence spoken in rage can end a marriage, break a friendship, or damage family ties permanently. This is why Islam encourages silence during anger. Silence protects people from words that cannot be taken back. Once words leave the mouth, they can never fully return. Apologies may help heal wounds, but some scars remain in the heart for years. Parents especially need to understand the power of the tongue. Children believe the words spoken to them repeatedly. If parents constantly humiliate or insult their children, those children often grow up insecure and emotionally wounded. But when parents encourage, appreciate, and guide with wisdom, children develop confidence and emotional strength. A home filled with kind speech becomes peaceful. A home filled with shouting and insults becomes emotionally exhausting. The same applies to friendships and communities. Communities collapse when people normalize gossip, mockery, and negativity. Trust disappears, hearts become divided. But communities grow stronger when people protect each other's honor and speak with sincerity. The Prophet literally created unity not through wealth or power, but through honesty, mercy, and beautiful speech. People felt respected around him. His words healed hearts instead of damaging them. Many people today are suffering because they speak too much and think too little. They react emotionally to everything, post every feeling online. They argue over small matters endlessly. Silence has become rare. Yet silence is often wisdom. Not every opinion needs to be spoken. Not every argument deserves a response. Sometimes the strongest person is not the loudest one, but the one who controls the tongue when emotions become intense. A wise believer understands that speech is a responsibility. Before speaking, they ask themselves important questions. Is this true? Is this beneficial? Is this kind? Will this please Allah? These questions protect the tongue from causing unnecessary harm. They also transform speech into a source of reward rather than regret. Your tongue can either become the reason people remember you with love or the reason they remember you with pain. Some people leave behind beautiful memories because of their gentle speech. Others leave behind emotional wounds because of their harshness. Long after wealth, beauty, or status disappear, words continue living in people's hearts. This is why believers must treat speech carefully. Every sentence has the power to either build light or spread darkness. The third keynote, why negative speech changes your life, reveals a reality many people ignore. Human beings often think words are temporary, but words slowly shape the mind, emotions, habits, and future of a person. The language you use every day eventually becomes the atmosphere of your life. Someone who constantly speaks with negativity begins to see life through darkness. They complain about everything, criticize everyone, and focus only on problems. Over time, their heart loses gratitude, peace, and hope. Their own speech becomes a prison they created for themselves. Negative speech affects the heart first. A person who continuously complains trains the mind to notice only difficulties. Even when blessings surround them, they remain unhappy because their tongue has become addicted to negativity. Instead of saying Alhamdulillah, they constantly ask, why is my life like this? Instead of appreciating what they have, they focus on what they lack. This mindset slowly destroys inner peace. Gratitude disappears, patience weakens, and stress increases. The heart becomes heavy because negative speech feeds negative thinking every single day. Many people do not realize that words influence emotions deeply. If someone repeatedly says, I can't do anything right, they slowly begin believing it. If a person constantly says, nothing good ever happens to me, hopelessness grows inside them. Negative speech becomes self-destruction because the tongue keeps repeating messages that damage confidence and faith. Islam teaches believers to speak with hope and trust in Allah even during hardship. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending problems do not exist. It means refusing to let darkness control your speech and your soul. Negative speech also destroys relationships. People naturally feel exhausted around someone who always spreads negativity. Constant complaining, criticizing, insulting, and harsh language push others away emotionally. A person may wonder why friendships are failing or why family relationships feel cold without realizing that their own speech is creating emotional distance. Human hearts need kindness, encouragement, and mercy. When someone only speaks with anger or negativity, they create tension wherever they go. One of the most dangerous forms of negative speech is constant complaining about life itself. Some people complain about every situation, every person, every responsibility, and every test from Allah. Over time, this attitude weakens faith because it creates resentment inside the heart. Difficulties are part of life, but believers are taught to respond with patience and trust. Negative speech turns temporary hardships into permanent emotional suffering because the mind keeps reliving the pain through words. The tongue also affects spiritual health. A person who constantly speaks negatively often struggles to feel peace in worship. The heart becomes distracted, bitter, and emotionally drained. Complaining excessively, gossiping, insulting people, and using foul language all darken the soul. In contrast, positive remembrance of Allah purifies the heart. Saying Alhamdulillah, Subhan Allah, and Astaghfirullah fills the soul with light. Fills that speech is not only communication, it is spiritual nourishment. Shaitan loves negative speech because it spreads hopelessness and division. When people constantly criticize each other, families break apart. When communities spread rumors and insults, trust disappears. When people speak with despair, they lose motivation to improve themselves. Negative speech weakens both the individual and society. This is why Islam encourages believers to speak words that bring benefit, peace, and healing rather than destruction. Another danger of negative speech is that it becomes a habit very quickly. At first, a person may only complain occasionally, but eventually negativity becomes their natural response to everything. They wake up complaining, speak to others harshly, and end the day criticizing life. This habit changes personality over time. Even good opportunities feel empty because the person has trained themselves to focus only on problems. Their own tongue blinds them from recognizing blessing. Social media has increased this problem dramatically. Many people now spread negativity publicly every day. They insult strangers, attack others in comments, complain constantly, and mock people for entertainment. This repeated behavior damages the heart because what a person speaks repeatedly eventually affects their character. A believer should never normalize negativity, whether online or offline. Every word is still recorded by Allah. Negative speech can even affect physical well-being. People who live in constant anger, stress, and complaining often feel emotionally exhausted. Their minds rarely experience peace because their speech constantly feeds anxiety and frustration. In contrast, people who train themselves to speak positively and remember Allah often feel emotionally lighter. Their problems may still exist, but their hearts remain stronger because their speech supports patience instead of destroying it. Changing speech can genuinely change life. When a person replaces complaining with gratitude, relationships improve. When they replace insults with kindness, respect increases. When they replace hopelessness with trust in Allah, peace enters the heart. Words influence mindset, and mindset influences actions. This is why controlling speech is one of the most powerful ways to transform life spiritually, emotionally, and socially. The fourth keynote, Allah hears every word you say, is a reminder that no sentence ever disappears.